Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to It's Rainmaking Time. This is Kim Greenhouse. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Dr. Bruce Fife. He's the author of the new book, Stop Alzheimer's Now, How to Prevent and Reverse Dementia, Parkinson's, ALS, Multiple Sclerosis, and Neurodegenerative Disorders. He is also the author of Coconut Cures, The Coconut Oil Miracle, The Palm Oil Miracle, Coconut Water for Health and Healing, Cooking with Coconut Flour, a delicious low-carb, gluten-free alternative to wheat, Virgin Coconut Oil, Nature's Miracle Medicine, Eat Fat, Look Thin, Coconut Lovers Cookbook, and Coconut Oil, the new health food of the 21st century. He is considered one of the renowned experts and pioneers in the field of understanding this miraculous oil. Many of us have had it and not known that we're actually having coconut oil. Some of us are just beginning to hear about it. And many, many years ago, people started to become afraid of coconut oil because saturated fats all of a sudden were demonized in the medical and scientific field. Dr. Bruce Fife is going to explain to us and share the marvel of the coconut. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dr. Bruce Fife to It's Rainmaking Time. Good morning.
Good morning, Kim. Thank you for inviting me.
One of the things I'm excited about is not only do I love coconut oil, I have to tell you, that's my bend. I use it on my skin. I take 2 to 3 tablespoons a day as of the last few weeks. I just love the way it makes me feel. And the fact that there are cures and this can be used for prevention and detoxing and all these good things, it almost sounds too good to be true. So I don't want this to sound like an infomercial, but is it too good to be true?
Well, you know what? You're right. There are so many health benefits associated with coconut and coconut oil that some people do kind of get the idea, well, this is too good to be true. But, you know, I've been studying this for about 15 years, and I'm still learning about some of the wonders that coconut oil does. It's amazing the many things that it can do. Now, I admit it can't do everything, so, it won't cure everything, but it does have so many health benefits that it's fantastic.
Let's talk a little bit about what's in coconut oil, the MCFAS, the medium chain fatty acids. Let's talk about that and explain that to the public, because most of us don't know. We've never studied this.
Yeah, and that's very important because that's the key that separates coconut oil from every other oil on the market. That's what makes coconut oil the healthy oil that it is. Basically, fats and oils are made of fat molecules called fatty acids, and you can classify the fatty acids into 3 basic categories depending on their size or the length of their carbon chain. And so you have long-chain fatty acids, medium-chain fatty acids, and short-chain fatty acids. And about 96-97% of the fats and oils that we normally eat every day are composed of the long-chain fatty acids. So corn oil, for example, is composed completely of long-chain fatty acids. So is soybean oil and canola oil, even lard and things like that are totally long-chain fatty acids. But coconut oil is unique. It is composed predominantly of the medium-chain fatty acids. And this is important because our bodies respond to and process each of the fatty acids differently depending on their size. So the physiological effects of the medium-chain fatty acids in coconut oil are very different from the long-chain fatty acids we normally get in our diet. And these medium-chain fatty acids have special properties, health-promoting properties that long-chain fatty acids just don't have.
I usually use 2 to 3 tablespoons a day of olive oil in my salad just because I love it. And I get virgin olive oil. But I know it's not a medium-chain fatty acid. What is it?
It is a long-chain fatty acid. Olive oil is 100% long-chain fatty acid, and there's nothing wrong with long-chain fatty acids. It's just that it doesn't have the benefits of the medium-chain fatty acids.
What is it, Bruce, where people are concerned about oils going rancid?
And that's a very important question, too, because the more polyunsaturated a fat is, the more likely it is to become rancid, because the more polyunsaturated a fat is, the more delicate it is, the more easy it is to oxidize and become rancid. So oils such as corn oil or soybean oil actually go rancid very easy. In fact, they start going rancid the day they are extracted from their source, because heat, oxygen, and sunlight are the three main things that cause oxidation of these oils. And so once they're removed from their source, they're exposed to oxygen, they're exposed to heat and to light, and so they start oxidizing. And when they oxidize, of course, they go rancid. But what's worse is that during this process, they start forming free radicals. And free radicals are very highly reactive molecules that basically attack our molecules in our body, and is one of the main things that researchers are crediting with aging. So the more exposure a person has to oxidized fats and oils, the faster they actually age. So your skin will start becoming more wrinkled. It will start developing aging, the brown little aging spots. These are all signs of oxidized oils in the body.
So a lot of us who are using the olive oil, should we beware? What does it mean?
Well, the benefit with olive oil is it's a monounsaturated, so it's more stable than the polyunsaturates, but it's not quite as stable as the saturated fats. All saturated fats are very stable. They don't oxidize very easily. And so in that respect, the saturated fats are excellent storage oils. They're excellent cooking oils. The monounsaturates like olive oil are in between. You can use them for cooking low temperatures or for salads, which is what they're best for. And you should never, ever, ever cook with a polyunsaturated oil. Even though they are sold for that purpose, once you stick them in the pan and you expose them to heat, heat's one of the things that oxidizes them. And when you expose it to the heat on a stove, the temperature goes up and the acceleration of oxidation is phenomenal. And so anytime you cook using a polyunsaturated oil, you are consuming a very large amount of these free radicals that are actually destroying and aging our bodies.
That's fascinating. So in this case with olive oil, and I'm staying on this just because so many people use it, that is a monounsaturated oil. So how does olive oil oxidize, or what is the risk of putting that in a pan?
Well, olive oil, like I said, is a little bit more stable, and so I actually prefer to use it as a salad dressing. Using it cold is the best way to use olive oil. However, you can use it a little bit for very low temperature cooking, but I wouldn't do any moderate or high temperature cooking with olive oil because it will oxidize.
What about butter?
Butter, even though it has a low smoke point, it is more stable because of its high saturate content for cooking.
Very interesting. I'm sure that people are thinking about this as we're talking, which is why I'm asking you. Let's talk a little bit about the Pacific Islanders. Coconut oil has been part of and integrated into their entire lives, used on their skin, eaten as part of so many of their meals, and they're relatively thin. Why?
Well, there's an interesting group of studies that were done in the late 1960s, and what the researchers did is they looked for islands that were relatively isolated from Western civilization, and they found these two islands, Pacific Islands, where they didn't get much produce or much foods shipped into them, so they pretty much were sustained on their traditional diets. And they went in and they researched the types of foods they were eating, the nutrition they were getting out of it, and their health status. What type of diseases were they developing? And what they found some interesting things. what they found was that these people were consuming up to 60% of their total calories as